Welcome to section 4, and in this particular section we're going to take a look at some authentication basics and set this up in our application. And the learning goals for this is to implement basic authentication in our app and have an understanding of how we should store passwords in a database, how we can use inheritance in C#. And the reason for using inheritance is normally to avoid repeating yourself. When you hear the words DRY or the acronym DRY, this means do not repeat yourself, and there's certain techniques we can use in C# to help us avoid writing the same code over and over again. What we'll also take a look at in this section is how to use the C# debugger and how to go about getting information inside our code as the request is being processed and executed by our server. What we'll also introduce in this section is the concept of data transfer objects, what we want to send from our API down to our client, and also the other way around as well. We'll also introduce validation inside this section as well, and as part of the authentication, how are we going to authenticate the users to something like an API that we do not have a permanent connection with. Then we use something known as JSON Web Tokens, and we'll take a look at those in this section as well. On top of that, we're going to take a look at the concept of services in C# and also take a closer look at middleware inside here as well. And what we'll also take a look at in this section is extension methods. I said there's a couple of techniques in C# to avoid writing repetitive code, and whilst inheritance is one way, extension methods are another. So all of this is coming up in this section. But first of all, sometimes you might be thinking, I've got an idea for an application, but where do I actually start? Well, you typically start with the requirements. What should your application actually do? Now, we know we're building some sort of social dating app. And if you take a look at some typical requirements that would be involved in building an application of this nature, then a list of requirements might involve things like users should be able to log in, users should be able to register, users should be able to view other users, and users should be able to privately message other users. There's a certain word there that's used over and over and over again, and that's the concept of users. And this is where we start. We start with our user entity, and everything starts with the users in this kind of application, and then we build the rest of our app around this. So that's what we're going to start with, but what we'll take a look at next is what should we do with the passwords that the user uses to enter when they register or log in. And we'll take a look at that next.